it's a stupid. How do we go from a collective point of view, or progressive? Have we done better? We're hard nosed. Who are the words that we're using? Look, positivity is another word. And you say, well, how do you measure that? So it was easy. You say, okay, good session, guys. Okay, who are our best? Who are our best today in terms of being self-critical or positive or whatever?
Yep.
Tell me who they were. And inevitably names will come up. They say, oh, that's great. That's the second training session in a row for Joe over there, and da da da. So and then as you develop the positivity around that, you can say, okay, is there anyone didn't give us budgeted performance? You see what comes out.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, initially, no one will say anything. You won't get anyone. There'll be no negativity, because that's that's sort of contrary to the positivity of it. But the reality is that to go forward, you've got to keep the whole thing about peer review is that you'll make more progresses from a coaching point of view. Everyone expects the coach to be critical and whatever, but when peers review each other, as they do in science and other things, peer review is a very important tool. And once you can create an environment where there's enough trust, the peer review in a coaching in a sports sense is quite powerful. And you get more progress when players can review their peers in an honest way, positive or negative. But the information's taken in an objective way, not a personal way. You've got to have a fairly honest crew.
So just to wrap up, if we just take a scenario, just in terms of the US, just say you finished coaching the Reds, you've gone on to coach internationally, and then you've ended up just accepting a contract on the east coast of the US. Now, obviously,
in New York,
hey?
in New York, my favourite town.
Obviously, just say you're coaching a college team in New York. The Sweet 16's in April. Your competition goes from September to November, and then it snows. So you really can't do anything from December really until probably mid-Feb. But the other thing is once your competition finishes, how do you keep a team, or how would you keep a team motivated leading into that Sweet 16, given that you got 3 months really of non-competition games?
Well, it depends on what your focus is. It's really where your message is. You could take it you could take the whole situation as a negative in terms of teamwork, but then, the weather's poor at that time of year, so you could take it as a positive. You're not out there slogging away in minus 15 degrees, so there's an upside there. But there's some, the sports facilities are quite. Going indoors is certainly a way that you can keep at least the unit parts of your game maybe moving forward. Things like line out and those base skills. There's an opportunity to be fresher. There's an opportunity to be stronger. There's a bunch of opportunities that you can have over your opponents that might offset got some of the cohesion. Then you'd have to look at how you're playing the game, because you've got that gap in time. You've got to have a game that you can resuscitate based on the weather. And there's no different to actually Europe. In Europe, you play all the way through that cycle, but the reality is that sort of late December, January, February is severely impeded by weather anyway. So that teams that are in that environment are making compromises anyway in terms of how they train. They're on artificial tracks, etc. So they might get theoretically some progress in terms of continuity, but in terms of developing the game, the question is what style of game's on at that time.
Yeah, for
sure. It can be a negative, it can be a positive. It really depends on your mindset around it. You really want to focus your mindset around, we'll be fresher, we won't have any injuries, all their guys will be back ready to go, et cetera, et cetera. So you can really get your mindset around that and say, you'd probably just have to make sure you've got a game that you can resuscitate quickly. So you're probably not going to have an overly complicated game, one that you can get back on the park and try and play to the fact that you're fresher, stronger, potentially faster. You've actually benefited from basically a pre-season that you can have.
Mid-season, pre-season.
Exactly right. Yeah. And try and benefit from that.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. All right, mate. Thanks very mumuch for that. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And good luck for the season.
Thanks.
Let's turn this off.
Yeah.